What are your thoughts on game one? Can the Pacers do the inevitable and pull off a game one uh, straight up win like they did against the Knicks and the Cleveland Cavaliers?
Do the impossible. Do the inevitable would be to lose by 20 points. But can they do the impossible? Sure. I mean, I think the big variability, and I do like the Thunder in game one, but I think the big variability is nobody's been on this stage before. And maybe
Yeah, that's a great
uh,
point.
being under the bright lights in the finals with, reporters from Singapore and Malaysia and Nigeria, and it's a much bigger stage than even the conference finals was. Um, Maybe they just they're more prepared for that moment. The Thunder have had sometimes in these playoffs, mostly against the Nuggets, where it seemed like they were kind of shocked by the reality of these high impact games. I would say the same for the Pacers. In the last couple of years, they've definitely had some clunkers, including in that Knicks series. Um, the rest versus rust argument, and the Thunder are going to have more than a day off, more than a week off,
Yes.
I think is a false question. I think it's never been rust. I mean, in the NFL, they play once a week. In soccer, they play, once every 4 or 5 days. But because of this 1960s system where they play 100 games a year, people are like, oh man, is their shot going to be off? Are they going to forget how to play basketball? Like, there's no real governor of how often you should play basketball to stay good at it. And I think if you were trying to optimize being really good at basketball, World's Strongest Man happens 4 times a year. Different sports have different uh, ways to go about it. I just don't think 100 is close to what would be necessary. I think once a week would be fine. Once every 10 days would be fine. You'd probably have better quality of basketball. And some stats behind that. If you have a week off and your opponent has less than 5 days off, so that's what the Pacers have. They have 4 days in between games. You are 22-7 straight up in the playoffs, 20-9 ATS, and in the first half, you're winning by 6 points per game, and the average line in these scenarios is -6. So you're covering the game in the first half. So now that 9 is gone, and you got to bet 9.5, I think a good way to go about it as an alternative route would be the first half. I think the way the Pacers want to play is just walking right into the teeth of what the Thunder do. Their versatility is an advantage against most teams because there's always a weak spot, whether it's Karl Anthony Towns or Darius Garland coming off of injury or Jalen Brunson. They can keep moving the ball, keep playing that 2014 Spurs happy passing until they get that matchup that they like. The Thunder are the opposite. They are uh, not exactly defensive player of the year quality across the board, but pretty darn close to it. I don't think Siakam's going to have particular great advantage versus Hartenstein or Holmgren. I don't think Halliburton, who's had some pretty bad games against the Thunder, -20 in one game, only scored 14 points in another game in the 2 games this year, is going to find a lot of joy out there. And it's just the opposite. Bill Simmons made the point that, oh man, if only the Celtics would have done this, that, and against Jalen Brunson, and Rick Carlisle's a genius, and pressuring him full court. Jalen Brunson scored 31 points per game on 51% shooting against this Pacers team. He had a clunker in game six with only 19. But on balance, his best series of the playoffs as a small guard was against the Pacers. They just had defensive liabilities on the other end, and Tibbs is fired. That happened. Pacers deserve credit for that win, but they didn't get there by shutting down a lead guard. Just the opposite. That was their weak point. And Shea, in the last 2 years versus this Pacers team in 3 games, he's scoring 36 points per game on above 50% shooting, 8 rebounds per game, 7 assists per game. He had his career high earlier this year, at that point, career high, 45 points the day after Christmas against this Pacers team. And again, there's not a lot of roster changeover since that time. I think Shea's going to love his matchup. I think Halliburton and Siakam are going to struggle against their matchup. So my favorite way to go about it, man, Shea's over under is 33.5. I'm not sure if I've ever seen that
I
in a
know.
finals game. Luka last year was 30.5, which seemed really high. He ended up going under in 4 out of the 5 games because it's when you have one guy, it's difficult to do that. But the Thunder don't have that problem. They don't have to funnel things through Shea. Whether it's Jalen Williams going off or Chet, I think they're going to have a lot of opportunities out there. So I like the -9.5 still, but I think because it's still 5 and not 5.5, My best bet for the game would be to bet the first half.
I like it. Yeah, I mean, you take a look at some of the trends that I've been throwing around. Game one in particular, home favorites, 19-3 straight up, 18 and
Right.
4
Right.
against the number. The
In the
under is
finals.
also a very profitable angle, 14-8 towards the under, 63.6% towards the under there.